Tim, welcome.
Yeah,
Good to
thank
have
you.
you with our Grounded Toward Growth member interview series. You are our first um, key executive group member to be a part of this interview series. So I appreciate you taking some time.
It's a great pleasure to be invited to speak with you today.
Tell us a bit about yourself and how it is you came to ProSync and the role that you're playing there at ProSync.
Yeah, sure. So I joined the government contracting sector right out of college, and I didn't really know what government industry was, what government contracting was. I just knew I was taking a job down in Fairfax with IBM. So I come down, and kind of long story short, it was a perfect match for me. And I'd been in the industry for about 18 years, 17 years by the time I was introduced to Mike Lessing, the CEO of ProSync. We were introduced by a mutual friend, and so I joined ProSync during COVID, and it's been phenomenal. And last year, he had been speaking Vistage's praises for a long time. He mentioned that he was part of a CEO fraternity. I didn't really know what that meant exactly, but then last year he said that he had nominated me for this Keyman group, and I thought it was great because the idea of getting coaching and kind of armchair advice on a recurring basis. To me, it's great, because as a senior leader in an organization, it's a little lonely. You keep your own counsel quite a bit. Your spouse becomes an advisor, right? So having having somebody that's not my spouse, but other professionals in industry give me advice who are also going through similar things in terms of reporting to a CEO and dealing with all the fits and starts associated with that first policy for advice. So yeah, I'm really excited to have Vistage be part of not just 2024, but hopefully well beyond 2024.
Well, that's great. It's really good to have you. And Mike is one of my core members of my chief executive group, and it's been great to have him. He certainly knows the routine, and as you know, when I brought my two chief executive groups together in October for our annual retreat, one of the topics was what do we want to be doing differently in 2024? And a key item was to have the direct reports to my CEO group form a key executive group. So here we are. We launched back in January with 8 members. We now have a ninth member coming on, which is exciting. And so we're going to continue to grow the group, and it's great to have you as part of that group. So my question, Tim, is what do you see as the key opportunity from being a part of the key executive group? What are the 2 or 3 major reasons why you decided to join?
Great question. So, kind of candidly, one of the main reasons that I'm excited about getting advice from peers is to learn how to manage my role a little bit better in terms of working directly for a CEO and an owner. I think many people in the organization have a hard time connecting with that CEO and owner in a way that's sort of like collaborative, right?
Right.
Two heads are better than one. I've always felt like brainstorming was a bit of a lost art. So learning how other folks approach what may be kind of a hard to reach person because of their status. So I'm looking for ways of essentially being able to better collaborate, right, at the senior strategy level, and not just be sort of a staff member, but really a collaborator. Two, so we've experienced growth, solid growth in the last couple of years. I really want to continue the growth trajectory of ProSync. I really want exponential growth, which is difficult to achieve, but it's what we're trying to accomplish. And I think growth occurs when you're out of your comfort zone. So in a lot of ways, I'm looking for motivation to come from this key executive group. It's somewhat easy, when you're in an office to get sort of to kind of rest on your laurels a little bit. I have a win wall here with all the contract wins we have, and I feel like I'm getting maybe a little bit not as aggressive, I guess I'd say. So I want the group to be able to keep pushing me, keep changing me, help me, encourage me to grow, so I can be a little bit outside my comfort zone, because I think I need to keep pushing the company. And then 3, perhaps open up my aperture to business situations that I don't see every day. So I'd imagine that. So I'm in charge of growth for the company. I'd imagine that there might be a mix of situations that people are in who are kind of co-operating a company or number 2 in a company. And I'd like to see other dimensions of that kind of company senior leadership. Because, for example, I really don't do anything related to finances in the company. That's not a bad thing. It's just an area that I wouldn't mind being exposed to, because I think if I were going to continue my growth and one day be a chief executive, then I'd want to be very conversant in issues related to financial management.
Excellent. Well, that is a real fit with what the CEO said back in October. There were really, I'd say, 2 or 3 things that I heard from them that's very similar to what you said. One is they need strategic partners. They need people who can engage with them, not just for their respective functional area or their P&L, but also around the overall strategy of the company. So to partner with them around the strategy of the company from your respective perspectives. The second was to interpret that company-wide strategy in order to execute your functional area or your P&L. And the C-suite is a tough spot, because as we're trying to free the CEO up to spend more time working on the business and less time in the business, well, guess who that falls to? That falls to the C-suite, to be keeping the trains running on the day-to-day, while also being a strategic partner. So it's a tough role, and finding that balance is a lot of what the CEOs are looking for and need from their people. And so they say, hey, if we can help one another out to do that, it's a win-win. The thing I also think is exciting about our key group, and it's early, we've only got 8 or 9 people, but we have yourself as Chief Business Development Officer. We have a Chief Financial Officer. We have a Chief Operating Officer. We have a Chief Client Services Officer. And then we have 3 or 4 people who are really like a division president. They are general managers who own a P&L, who are running a business or running a regional district of a larger company. So I think we're going to have this really nice mix of both P&L owners and functional expertise in the group. So I really look forward to our next meeting. The speakers will be great. In January we had Mike Foster talking about cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, and then in February we're going to have David Friedman talking about culture and how to build a powerful culture, but really what differentiates the company for competitive advantage. So
Cool.
It's going to be really fun to get this group up and running and launched, and I'm thrilled to have you a part of that. So thank you.
My pleasure. No, I feel honored to be a part of the group.
Great. Well, we will talk to you again and see you in a week. No, next week is our meeting. So we'll talk to you then.
Yes, sir. All right, Rick. You have a great week. Take care.
Bye-bye.